What is up, everybody? I am here with, I believe, eliminated player number 10 on the Traitors OCG. One of the traitors himself, Dar. Dar, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. One time.
Well, first of all, just what was it back? What was it like watching yourself back as a traitor this season?
It was. I could have done better. I had a lot going on at the time, so I didn't really do good. I would like to run it back though.
I mean, you did good enough. You had a shot to win the game.
I didn't even towards the end. I didn't even know what to do at that point.
Yeah, we'll get there. Let's circle back to the beginning. I guess my first question is when you first saw that Al and Ashley were your fellow traders, how did you
Yeah,
feel about working with them? And were you surprised it was them?
yeah. It was a little surprise, especially like Ashley and Ella was like, I didn't know how far I would get honestly, but it's whatever.
Now, what about when you saw that Jason was playing again? Did that worry you at first?
Kinda, cause Jason's smart. He's smart, so I was like, I don't know. And then it was actually catching on because it was like, when it was like one of us got to be a traitor because we played on previous episodes. So I was like, oh man,
Yeah, Jason did keep dwelling on that fact, and then when do you think you should have eliminated Dot during that round?
I was just going with the flow. They wanted to eliminate dots. I was like, all
Well,
right.
it's kind of you. I think you
Was
you
it me?
pushed for
I don't
Dot.
remember. Well, I would have probably if I would have knew what I was doing at the time. I was like, I probably would have got him out of there. Jason, what's the other one's name?
Mike.
Yeah, Mike. I would have got him out of there like earlier. If all they had to do was listen to Mike, game's over.
It's true. That is true.
He was spitting the most facts. I was like, bro, I can't.
Yeah, watching back that Mike round when Mike's coming for you and talking about you and
Yeah,
Ashley,
I didn't know what to say.
but you got out of it, and they
I
seemed to know. We made fun on the
surprisingly,
podcast that they they knew what you were saying. Why do you think you were able to convince them?
I don't know. I really don't know. I was not doing good. I was not doing good at all. I didn't because I don't know how to like. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to hold things in. So I was like I laugh a lot, like I smile a lot. So it's like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's funny.
But I do feel like during the game, you definitely worked on your laughing too much.
Yeah,
You said
I
you
do it off
convinced
camera.
yourself you weren't you would be off
I
camera
was doing it
laughing.
off the camera. Like I look this way.
Is that why sometimes your camera was way up here and you were way down
Yeah,
there?
that's so funny. I got out of it, but it was funny. It was real funny.
Um, let's talk about, I guess, the first round when it kind of was like Drea and Mike going at it. How did you feel about playing against these big personalities? Did it make it easier for you as a trader to kind of go under the radar? Do you think?
Yeah, it was way easier after that because it was so much stuff already going on. So I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna chill here, chill in my place. I got close. I was close to the end. I just didn't know what to do with that L part. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I kind of gave up on myself, honestly.
Well, we'll get to the end in a second. Also, at the beginning, you all had this plan where Al was going to get close to, I think, Jason. Ashley was going to get close to Mike. You were going to get close to Lori. And you did a good job of ratting out Amancio, that Amancio was going after Lori. And
Yeah.
ever since then, Lori was trusting you. What was it about your and Lori's relationship?
It was pretty, I guess, cool. Um, I don't know. She didn't know I was like a trader at the time, so I was like, I was just trying to make it like I wasn't trying to. I was watching like the previous like podcast as well. I wasn't trying to offend anybody either. You know what I'm saying? It's just a show, so I was trying to say anything to make myself not, come out like weird. You know what I mean? or
For the
like one of the
record, I
traitors.
don't think you did anything too bad. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it
swore on
was.
your grandmother,
Yeah,
but what are you gonna
only do
do?
that just so it could like add some spice to it to make them to manipulate them to think. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a traitor because it'll make sense at the end of the day.
I mean, I do actually think that was your best tactic. I do feel like you
Yeah,
were good at maybe it was emotional manipulation, but like manipulating people to be like, oh, it can't be dark because
yeah,
you could like, oh, you don't like me. That was
yeah,
your plan.
yep. That was really that was really about it. It was fun though. It was real fun. I would like to do it again with some of those people that are in the podcast as well, since
I
they
mean,
think
it's definitely possible. I don't know if it would be a traders game, but maybe a different kind of game of some sort.
yeah or something. Let me know because I definitely want to be a part of that. That's fun.
So going towards the end, I guess I, you were pushing for Drea a lot, but then Al came into one of those rounds and really wanted Drea out, and she wouldn't back down. Do you wish you would have fought a little harder to not have it be Drea that round to kill?
Yeah, I think we should have. It definitely could have been somebody more. I guess you can say powerful. I don't know. Who's the other dude besides Jason?
Anthony?
Anthony.
I was gonna ask, did you consider like doubling back on Anthony because you guys tried to rid of him, and then he was safe that round, so he didn't die, and then
Yeah,
you
that
guys
was a
didn't go
crazy.
back to that.
I think we should have kept pushing it because he was like a strong connection between everyone. So I was like, oh man, but it's all good. It's whatever.
And it was after that round that you started to kind of throw Al's name out there.
Yeah,
Do you
I felt
regret doing that,
betrayed.
or did you want you felt betrayed?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, I might as well play it alone. Like, but it's all good. It don't matter, you know.
Was because the start of that was actually when Al first voted for you in the mic round. Is that when you first felt betrayed?
Yeah,
And then the getting out Dre just added to that.
yeah. It's funny. It's so funny, honestly.
Did you consider trying to throw Al under the bus harder? Because by the
Mhm.
end of the game, you weren't kind of shooting for her anymore. You kind of changed to go back against Jason. Or do you think it
I
would have been
like I
too late
said, I
back
didn't even.
then?
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just. I was already knew that I was going to be out. They had no other choice or no one else to pick. You know, because at that time it was me and L. And Elle was already like she was speaking up more, so and I was just still quiet. So I was like, "Oh, it's me."
Yeah, I do feel like by the time it got down to final six, you really felt it was going to be you instead of Raven, but then Raven somehow
Yeah,
ended up going instead.
yeah. I was like, I was surprised as well. That was fun.
How about just circling back to your relationship with Lori? At the end of the game, did you consider trying to plead to her, emotionally manipulate her more towards the end? Because you didn't
Uh,
really.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I tell you that I had no clue. I didn't even have a plan. I think at the time I was like, I was also distracted as well, like just in general. So I was like, "Oh man,
Well, I mean, something worked in the end, though. I do feel
yeah,
like you may have had a lot of randomness, but it still kind of worked out. It got you far.
yeah." You did indeed. You got me far, but not far enough.
Well, what was your biggest lesson if you ever play another game?
Hmm. I gotta I gotta get up under people's skin more. I gotta get up under their skin more,
Like, what do you mean exactly?
like emotionally,
So you want to be even more emotionally manipulative?
because I think that's like the whole tech, like that's the whole like that's how you do it because you just make them think. Like I was watching how Anthony, that's his name, right? I was watching how he plays. He was playing more as like if he was a traitor, you know what I'm saying, he would have been a good one because just the way he was playing. I just take things and then just like I can recreate them. He was good.
Well, I kind of like that you're doubling down on that. You want to emotionally manipulate even more in a future game.
And if they don't like it, oh well. The whole
It's
point
true.
is to win, you know.
Yeah,
Not
I don't
us hurting with
disagree.
feelings, but it's just to win. You know what I'm saying? I've done a couple of these before, and it's just how it is. You just gotta win and get out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I will say by the end of the season, I do feel like you had a lot of people rooting for you. You had some people that thought you should have been eliminated a long time ago, but
Yeah.
some of
A
the
lot of
fans were
people
rooting for
actually.
you.
I had a lot of people going crazy. I was just sitting there like I was reading some of the comments as well. I was like, okay, I don't really care. That's so funny though.
Well, I'm glad you didn't take the negativity to heart.
No, I don't, man. I got like I'm used to most of it. It's funny. It's funny to me.
Well, do you have any final thoughts on the season or your cast?
It was fun. I would like to play again. I definitely could have done better if I was like. I just feel like I was too distracted to like do a lot of things, but I definitely could have done better. And I think as a team, like me and L, we definitely could have done better as a team as well. Like I think we should have just like, cause if we would have got through that round when I got voted out, I think we had to like vote somebody out. I think just the traitors, if I'm not mistaken, and then it would have been just 2v2 at that point.
Yeah, if you kind of just got Jason out, then
I think I would have got if we did survive that, I would have got Lori out,
that would
and
have
then
worked.
it would be Jason and then Anthony, and
Yeah,
then it would have been tough because it would have made it more difficult. Because if me and L go for one person and they go for one person, it would have been like a tie.
yeah.
You would have had to do something, and then you would have had to figure out what we're gonna. And it just would have been fun, honestly.
Yeah. I do think you two needed to somehow split up Laura and Anthony at least. They definitely had a lot of power towards the end.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun.
All right, Dar. Well, I'm sure I will be in touch at some point about another game.
Let me know. That's so fun. I want to play with those people on the podcast. People people think it's all fun and games until they play. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
true. It's true. They've never played a Traitors game before. It's true.
So it was not that simple. It was not that simple. Like Mike, no one was listening to Mike at all. Nobody. It was just crazy because I would think a lot of people would listen to him, but sadly no one really wasn't listening to him like that. And they should have. They should have all listened, but they didn't.
Nope, it's true. And that wasn't your fault. So
Yeah. I think it was like more of a I don't know, like it was like Anthony. They was listening more of Anthony than him.
they
Like
were, yeah.
yeah. But that was fun.
All right. Well, until next time, Dar.
That's fun. Yep.
What is up, everybody? I'm here with eliminated player number 12, the last elimination of the season. One of the traitors herself, Al. Al, how's it going?
What an intro. You could have said number 3.
Third place? I mean, I could have.
Rub it in. I would take third place.
I got technically second place, actually.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Well, I thought you played a great game overall. There was a couple hiccups, I suppose, but let's go back to the beginning. Because I did feel like you were, when I interviewed people before the game about who wanted to be a traitor, you were a little apprehensive, but
I
you
was.
jumped right into it. Did you embrace it?
I did. I don't mind being a villain, but I had to be really careful. I think I did have a lot of self-control compared to some of the games that you've hosted with me before. So I didn't cause a lot of drama. Kind of, the person that clocked me the hardest was Drea. She knew I was just sitting in the background, just watching people.
Yeah, she did. Or either that or she just loved your bangs. I'm not sure.
That could be. That could be. And the hair is real if she's watching.
Now, I never mentioned this on the podcast. I was waiting to interview you, but yes, you have played many of Mafia games online with me before on
Mhm.
an astrology website. So you've played your Mafia before. Did that like help you in being a trader?
It did. It did. And, only you know that Dazed and I were great friends.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
actually called him after we finished filming, and I was so excited. I said, I did a thing, hoping that after, this was over, that maybe him and I could play one day. So he was my ride or die online. So for the gaming, but it did help. It did help a lot, especially being a villain. You almost have to pretend that you're not. But the traders working with the hardest part of it was working with the traders and the faithful, right? You figure the traders would all be working together and it would be one big happy family, but you really got to think and be strategic with the other traders for sure.
Yes, and I want to say I was really, oh God, I was really hoping that Days could have been on the podcast that you played. I thought that would have been. That's
Yeah,
what I
that
was
would have been
hoping.
great. Yeah, I hope I did them. I hope I did them justice and proud.
Oh, I think so. Well, circling back to Ashley and Dar, what was the dynamics with them? Because Ashley was so talkative, and Dar was so not. So how did you deal with both of them?
That it was hard because in the beginning, I was thinking numbers, right? Everybody find somebody that they can trust and, stick with them, and that we at least have 6 votes. No matter what vote we're voting on, we have 6 votes. And Dar was supposed to go to Lori, and he kind of did with the Amuncio thing, but that was really the only thing he did with Lori. And Ashley was supposed to go to Mike, but then she started trashing Mike and went to Drea. But then came back and said Drea was targeting me. So it's like, okay, this plan's not going to work. So it was hard to navigate with them. It really was. And I was surprised watching back how many times Dar had my name in his mouth.
Yeah, especially towards the end of the game, he was
Yes.
just throwing you under the bus.
Yes, he was. I think actually the whole drama between Jason and I started because Dar had brought my name up. And, of course, Jason threw me under the bus, and then I threw him under the bus. And, Dar's just there like, yay.
We'll come back to Dar, but outside of Dar, you have watched other games. So you've watched Dot play, you've watched Mike play, you've watched Jason play. Did that help you in playing against them as a trader, especially?
Not really. I mean, you kind of know their personalities. I knew Mike was going to be a powerhouse, and I thought, it would be smart for me to get close to him. I've seen the way Dot played, and that's why I kind of stood back a little bit because he does have a bad reputation for backstabbing. But I would have loved to play more with him. He was funny. He was, his social game is on point, but I was a little afraid to alliance with Dot. And Jason, you just had to compliment him, and he was on your side.
I mean, that worked wonders for you
It did.
guys.
It did. It did until it didn't. We left Anthony and Lori in the game too long. I'm glad Lori won. She was fantastic. But as soon as those two were tied at the hip, nobody had a chance. Yeah.
Before it got to that point, who out of the newbies were you most worried about playing against when you first met him?
I was worried about Raven, and I feel bad watching back, but my strategy against Lauren, I knew that Raven and Dot were the ones that kind of, were playing the telephone and passing on information, but Lauren was in the room. And I knew I couldn't go after Raven directly because she has a very good social game. And I knew Lauren was struggling. So I thought, I'm going to go towards Lauren, and then I'm going to apologize to Lauren, and then she'll go after Raven. I don't have to go after Raven directly. Raven was a threat because she got along with everybody. And you kind of knew, that she was genuine. I tried to twist it as best as I could, but, she was just too likable. She really was. I felt bad when she left. That was a hard vote out. That was emotional.
Yeah, everyone was pretty emotional during Raven's vote. But yes, the first big move of yours of many was the whole voting for Lauren when everybody else was voting for Amancio. After that vote, you said you were a little worried, but it seemed to work out very well for you.
It did. It did. And it's so funny watching back now. I didn't know she was a Taurus. And there was just something about I knew that she would just grab onto something and not let it go.
And that she did for sure. How did you make it so that it didn't come back at you? It was just that one conversation you think you did?
I don't know. I didn't realize that she wasn't having many chats, and that might have helped, right? If not, I wish I would have known that, right? Because I would have utilized her as an ally. I didn't know. But it seemed to work. That one chat worked, and she never brought it up again. Only other people brought it up, so it wasn't like she was, she didn't seem to be upset about it. But it did work to my advantage because the target came off of me and went directly to Raven. So.
Yes, certainly did. When Ashley ended up not showing up because she overslept an alarm, that definitely hindered you all because Ashley was talkative and she never mentioned your Dar's name, and Lauren happened to be another person she didn't mention. How did you two weasel out of that?
Nobody paid attention, because I was quiet and was kind of in the background. Nobody paid attention that I said the exact same thing that Dar said. I've never talked to her that much. Nobody caught on to that. So when they started putting the spotlight on Dar, well, Mike did. I thought, I'm not going to argue for him or against him. I'm just going to kind of sit back and watch. But yeah, nobody paid any attention. They were so gung-ho on their ideas, and somebody would just bring up a name and they would just all turn and focus on that person, like not utilize Lori's notes. Everything was in Lori's notes.
It's true. It just the information just never came out.
When I watched the end of the show and she said, I went through my notes and Al is the one that kind of put me towards people, I thought, yeah, Lori's notes are what got me.
Yeah, which is ironic. The podcast was just so anti-Lori's notes.
I know.
They did help in the The Mike vote was huge. It was a big moment as well that you looked like you were just Mike's biggest ally, and he never suspected you. How did you get away with it with Mike that you were never on his radar as a traitor?
I think because I agreed with everything he said. I didn't challenge him, and I brought what a little information that I could, and that I could kind of exploit it. I brought it to him, and I think he was so taken aback by the Drea thing. He just needed an ally because he knew that if somebody started going after him, that was his downfall, and Drea wasn't going to give up. So I just believing everything that he said, and yes, Mike, you're brilliant, Mike, which he is a great game player, but you really had to lean into that to kind of feed that ego. But,
yeah. That was also the round that you voted for Dar. Do you think that's when Dar decided, well, I might as well just start throwing Al's name around?
Absolutely. I still look back, and that was the best thing I could have done because I needed that gameplay. If I would have voted with everybody else, I think Jason would have thought a lot sooner about not trusting me. So I had to use that to my advantage, right? I had to feel like completely heartbroken that, you broke up our alliance. But Dar took it personal. And, that vote, no matter what he says, it was a revenge vote. And then he started thinking, well, I'm just going to throw her name around because, they're not going to suspect me if I'm going after her. And yeah, it was just downhill from there.
Now, you mentioned this earlier, but were you surprised by just how much Dar was throwing your name under the bus, or did you suspect that he was?
I didn't suspect it at all. At all. I was watching it and I was absolutely shocked. I'm like, wow, that's the whole seed that was placed in Jason's head. Because I remember the two of them talking and Dar was like, what do you think about Elle? And he did the same thing to Anthony. And it's like, okay, now I know where a lot of that, because Jason came to me and said, everybody's talking about my name. And it's like, who is everybody? Nobody has said anything or mentioned anything. And then the one chat that I had with Lori where she started talking about personal stuff, I thought, oh, okay. I mean, I'm on the chopping block. But yeah, I don't know. I did not know he was doing that. I did not at all. So I don't feel so bad voting him out.
Do you think that will hurt your end game because of that?
The
Yeah.
end game, absolutely, because when it got down to that final vote out, when we voted out Drea, there wasn't any other opportunity. We needed to be solid with the final five. Who's going to be the final five? And he couldn't let go of Lori. And it's, I couldn't let go of Jason. And it's like he wasn't thinking past that vote. And it's like we have to set ourselves up. But, I knew that, and I know the podcast disagrees with me, but I knew that Drea, nobody suspected her as a traitor. After what happened with Ashley, she was not on anybody's radar. So, and plus she was suspicious of me. So that was the best. I knew he wouldn't give up Lori. So that was the best move that I thought I could make.
I want to get to the time y'all went for Anthony at the last minute. Before that, though, what's it like playing with Leo Anthony, who just loves to be confident in his opinion, even if they're very wrong?
It was wonderful. He put on such a show. I loved it when he would just go all out with his whole chest and be 110% wrong. It was beautiful.
Now, walk us through why you all went for Anthony that last minute.
I caved. I caved. I thought, yeah, we have to get him out eventually, right? We have to get him out soon. But that was probably the biggest mistake of the game, with him being safe. That changed a lot of things. Because then now I have two faithfuls that everybody pretty much knows that are faithful. Drea because of the Ashley thing, and now Anthony because we tried to vote him out and it didn't work. So now you got two people, and it's like, ugh, what do you do now? So that was probably the biggest mistake that I felt that I made by agreeing to that. I don't think Dar's strategy on voting out anybody there was no strategy. It was like, what do you think of this person? But nothing thinking forward on what it was going to do for our game. And Ashley's was, what can it do for her game? And I caught onto that really fast. So yeah, I was kind of by myself when it came to.
I started to ask you this as the season went along. Were you too passive when offing people as traitors?
I was. Because I tried to justify their reasoning and thinking that they had some type of strategy behind it. And, come to find out there was no strategy. It was just flipping a coin in most cases with Dar. And I didn't think far enough ahead to the next night and the next night and the next night. So yeah, I was too passive when it came to picking who we were going to murder.
Mike posed this in the comments today at the final 3 when Anthony left. Do you think there's any way you could have convinced Jason and Lori to end the game there on a high note of getting Dar out of the game?
After watching the Traitors show, I think the worst mistake you can is trying to convince them to end the game, right? Because that makes you look suspicious automatically, right? We know that there's a large chance that there's one more traitor. I don't think I could have done that without looking suspicious. I thought I really had a 50-50 chance. I thought I had Lori against Jason. I really thought I had a shot, but Lori's damn notes.
Any other highlights from your game or lowlights that you think you may have done wrong?
Of what I've done wrong, no, not really. Besides the being passive when it was time to vote people out, I should have stepped up a lot sooner. Low lights is Jason constantly asking if you were a traitor, like a traitor's gonna suddenly say, yeah, I'm a traitor. I didn't understand that, and it was really starting to get great on me. That was a little.
Oh, you can't hear me.
A little crazy, but
sorry, it's messing up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I was saying, going after Jason was a very bold thing. Do you regret going after him so hard, or?
No,
No.
it was time. It was time to do that because I knew that, well, I didn't have the information that what Dar was doing, right? So I really thought he had turned on me. And he just thought, the grass is greener on the other side. And I'm like, okay, now it's time to let you go. So no, I don't regret that at all. I wish I would have went after him harder, to be honest, in a public backyard chat.
Do you think you could have got enough words in though?
I think once I started raising my voice, I probably could have. They probably would have been a little surprised. I just didn't. I just didn't get the opportunity, but I would have. I should have done that because I think everybody was tired of his constant. And I love Jason. Jason's great, but he was just so aggressive with everything that he was saying, and somebody needed to give it back to him. Yeah.
Well, would you ever play a different game?
I would. I would.
Like an all returnees game, do you think more returnees to play against would be fun?
Traitors theme or
probably something else.
Okay. They're never going to trust me again on Traitors. Yeah, I'd love to do a Price is Right comp or
and you will have to do that.
soap opera video. Yeah, I miss those. How many coins are in this pile?
Yeah, those are my favorite. I haven't done that, I think, on one of these games. I need to do that. Thanks for reminding me about that.
Those are great.
Any final thoughts on your game or the season in general?
No, and I do appreciate the words from the podcast. That was
you were a favorite on the podcast.
I was, and they were very fair. They gave me my ups and they gave me my downs, and I took it all in. I will not bring it up in any future games.
You don't think you will? The Scorpio in you isn't going to bring it up?
No, I won't.
All right. Well, I have to get to the podcast. So
all right.
Thank you for everything. I will definitely be asking you to play another game at some point in the future.
All right. Perfect. All right. Thanks so much, Nick. It was great. You did a great job. We had fun.
Thank you. You guys were a great cast. It was fun.
And I don't know how you keep a straight face all the time.
It's the Virgo rising in me, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Later.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.